We are back, ladies and gentlemen. After a relative week hiatus for myself, I don't know about Davion, but yes, this is Jabronis United with a new logo, but the same old feel. I am your host, the Real or Deal, Ronald Regan, here with Major Day, Don't Miss.
Oh, say it.
I did say it. Major Day, Don't
No,
Miss. Boosie.
no, it's Major Day. I don't miss. Don't last name.
Man, I ain't been here in 2 weeks. I'm saying Bussy if I want to say Bussy.
No, you don't. It's Major Day. It's like the artist only moment.
I said Major Day. I said don't miss.
No, but you don't add the
Like
other.
I add the Bussy.
No, you're not adding the last name because that is my.
Hey, I presented my full name, plus your name is technically there on
I
your
understand
camera.
that, but I want the audience to know me as the original, the one and only. I am Major Day. I don't miss. No last name. Censorship.
Boosie. Anyway, look, it's been a couple weeks. I'm trying to get back in the groove of things. How have you been? Unfortunately, Kyle Krieger will not be able to join us tonight. He is busy working and actually making money on a Wednesday night as opposed to the both of us. But we do have a couple of things to talk about, more so in the business world of wrestling this week. But we will get to AEW Dynamite later on after 10 o'clock. And I also have a special little fun surprise for Day after that episode. But first and foremost, Day, how you been?
I am doing fantastically well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with the one and only Ryan, and I'm glad to see him back. It's like a breath of fresh air.
You missed me that much in the past couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah, because I had some exciting news, but
whoa. You held off a little bit.
What you mean?
You were a little hesitant to answer.
What you mean?
Mm-hmm.
What you mean? What do you mean?
No, I'll save it for later. But yes, if you want to go ahead, chime in. Definitely go ahead, get into the comments, just like my boy JT has done so. And actually, we are going to go ahead right into our first topic of the night because, as far as you, I, and everybody else, when it comes to trying to watch wrestling, Lord knows there's plenty of ways to watch it, whether it be on regular television or networks. The WWE has been switching up their plans for 2024. We already know that Raw is being looked at for another place outside of USA because SmackDown will be moving from Fox to the USA Network, so that is going to be the premier spot on cable. And we just learned that the developmental brand, NXT, has been slated to be a part of all networks, the CW, come October 2024.
I have a lot of questions about this, darling. This is the biggest move, not just for NXT, but for the CW. This is going to be amazing. And when I say amazing, you're going to have the most ratings in the world today. And then that brings viewership to the CW.
And JT, we will actually get to the whole NWA thing in a little bit after we go through this, because that will be part of the conversation, considering it was being looked at for CW to be the home of NWA Power at some point next year. But unfortunately, wrestling is a cutthroat business, and the WWE found the opportunity to line up with, I could argue, one of the lesser known brands on television. Like, let's be honest. CW has been in a little bit of a transitional period lately.
Exactly.
I'm
sorry.
They lost pretty much all the Arrowverse stuff is done. Superman and Lois will be ending with season 4, so that'll be like the last DC thing that's on the CW. Supernatural, which was like their other cash cow, that franchise is done. Winchester's didn't last one season. And they seem to be parlaying themselves into more of a CW live sports venue, although it's a lot of like C tier kind of like franchises. Like it's like the second or third most popular college football thing will be broadcast on CW. NASCAR will be on CW. Uh, Not your traditional sport, but the fact that CW is going to be the only place on like basic television, whether it's NBC, CBS, ABC, all of them, it'll be the only one that actually has a wrestling show during the week. That does say something for actually going ahead and making NXT more of a premier brand rather than a developmental brand, which is what it's been known
But
as.
let me say something. Like the CW had made a smart decision. See, the problem thing is CW, and I'm doing my mandatory voice. See,
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, why are you sounding like Medea for a second? Like, what is
it's
this?
not Medea, baby. It's See,
You just called me baby. How am I not
baby,
supposed to think that?
baby, See, the thing,
I swear to God, you call me sugar child. I'm coming come through that camera.
sugar child. See,
Oh, you mother.
you set yourself up on that one, but
Anyway,
anyway.
yes, your point.
But anyway, like I said, this was like it could be its own separate entity. It could be its own brand. And then not only that, the CW will basically market them because they're the younger, the fresh new start of a generation for the CW network. Because remember, CW always introduce a lot of young people when it comes to their product. And basically with acting, doing TV shows and everything else. Now you're using NXT with a bunch of young, fresh talent to basically put their name on. And then not only that, if they decide to bring certain new shows in, they could be featured in it.
It does make sense to put it on CW more so than probably some of the other networks in that sense. Yes, CW has always been seen as kind of like more of a youth oriented network against the larger known brands that you get on like the standard television. And even then, most people probably don't even bother with standard television as it is right now because there is cable, there is streaming, and obviously WWE is going to find its way into that. Like I said, as far as basic cable is concerned, they're still having their connection with USA, which in turn is still connected with, I guess, NBC Peacock. I don't know if that means they're going to stay on Peacock as far as pay-per-views are concerned. But if they go ahead and do that, they have three main shows, one for regular television, one for streaming, if they go ahead and put it on a streaming platform for Raw, and they have the cable television. So it makes the most sense for them to be on some place like this. And apparently, this is just what I've heard. Fox wasn't getting the numbers from SmackDown that it was hoping.
Mm.
So that's why they didn't renew the agreement with Fox as far as keeping SmackDown on there.
But like I said,
the NXT is a different entity.
Right. And not only that, Fox is they always have the issue with trying to find numbers, trying to find the next big show, the next big thing, and they want to be superior to the other networks, which is challenging with Fox, unless it's like The Simpsons, unless it's like some of their popular shows. But at the same rate, SmackDown, I felt it still was more, let's say, I would say it would, like, I did see it on Channel 9, but if you want to say US, I would say US Network and have Raw go somewhere else because that's the most well established network. I mean, what?
It's the
Yeah.
flagship, yes.
So I would say SmackDown should go to USA. That's the smartest.
You think? Well, you think they should, go to USA and keep that agreement
Yeah,
going?
SmackDown, not Raw.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So
Certainly.
SmackDown could have its own development because remember, Raw has the 3-hour slots.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, so what would be best for Raw would be have that establishment move to another network because it's already, but I would say either would it be beneficial to go to a more established network or would it be beneficial to go to a smaller network so it can help build up its audience and viewership? Uh, if I was a betting man, which
And you are. I know your gambling
oh
habits.
shut up, no, I'm not. Disregard that.
Hey, you're doing well enough when we do like the pick and choose when it comes to the pay-per-views.
All right, so if I was a betting man, if I wanted something like I would send Raw to Paramount Plus. If I was the person that
Paramount. All right.
reads
The same network that deals with all Nickelodeon things.
Nickelodeon, not just Nickelodeon, you got
But Paramount Plus is also not CW, CBS connected. So I don't know if that would necessarily be in their best interest, considering with the USA agreement, they still are connected to NBC. At least with CW is like its own
right.
thing. Like, at least with that, there's still the possible connection to like Max, since it's like all Warner
Oh
Brothers,
yeah.
ID Discovery, and ever since the new
So
ownership, there's a
so
connection there.
NXT will be considered with Max.
It could be in the long run. It could be.
Um
It's one of those things where it's like, obviously with
oh wait,
NXT being on
wait, wait,
CW, there's not a
wait,
lot of
wait, wait,
area where you can watch
wait.
reruns. CW does have an
Yeah.
app, and they do show like stuff from like back in the Arrowverse and all that sort of stuff, rather than going on to Netflix. Sure, but not a complete um,
Ryan, Ryan,
bag of
just to interrupt.
all the
Oh
background
my
stuff.
god, I just thought about it because AEW signed their agreement with Max anyway.
Mm, I mean, we'll see what goes along
Yeah,
with that.
like just
I don't know if anything's really been confirmed with AEW as far as like the signing with Max, as far as like what they'll do with it.
right, but that like you're sitting back there looking at it and you're like, oh, how much of a conflict of interest would that be if NXT went to CW and you got Max, which is owned by HBO, trying to get AEW on board with their network. So it's like, are you fiddling with the level, or are you just doing it just to be greedy? Like, think about it, because
I mean, it's WWE; they're doing it to be
yeah,
greedy.
no, not WWE, but Max. Because look, you got AEW and NXT.
I don't think Max is the kind of people that are going to do it to be necessarily greedy. Don't forget, we're talking about the same streaming network that would go ahead and cut off a completely filmed Batgirl movie just to make sure that it saved money. So it's not like they would have gone ahead and like just throws things out there to see whether or not they can pick up anything. They are still fiscally conservative. But all business talk aside, I'm just more excited for NXT. Now, mind you, it has had a bit of a ratings bump because you have these people from Raw and SmackDown coming over and making these guest appearances. So as far as like NXT being the spot where you can catch a little bit of Raw and SmackDown on basic TV,
Right.
it's not bad. Whether or not they'll keep it up, I don't know. Obviously, they just dropped the women's title in NXT from Becky Lynch to Lyra Valkyria. Go Irish.
Yep.
Good. And we'll see how that regulates from here on out. And obviously, they just had the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile brought up to Raw. So that goes ahead and shows us they're still doing call-ups. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to be an issue with going ahead and having like certain stars show up and then you have to go over to a whole nother network and find them again. It may be a little confuzzling. How you doing,
Hey,
Paris?
Paris.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm hoping that because NXT has been taken into a different creative avenue with, Shawn Michaels working behind the scenes more so than Triple H. So it is kind of its own separate entity. I want NXT to get the recognition that it deserves as being an actual brand, not just a developmental thing. And I think if you go ahead and you have like this kind of like showcase for it, then it's bound to happen.
Right. Oh, now I know.
Parents, no. No. First of all, it's 1T, not 2. And second, Brett's been done for a minute. Poor Brett.
Brett
Now,
Brett is living the best life of his best life.
Now, to go back to what JT was talking about, before the CW went ahead and scooped up NXT for 2024, the CW was actually in discussion with NWA, Billy Corgan's wrestling franchise, in order to have their NWA power finally be shown on an actual television network, as well as possibly have a deal for a behind the scenes sort of show go on, possibly on the CW app. So it was going to be 2 shows for them. But recently, I would say that they've kind of gotten themselves into a little bit of hot water.
Yes.
For those who don't know, there was an incident in like the past week that happened on NWA Samhain, not Samhain, like a lot of American people say, Samhain. It's Celtic, which is pretty much like their pay-per-view last month for October, back on the 28th. And there was some notable, how do I phrase this? There were some issues shown
Dot.
with the sinister, with the sinister minister here, Mr. Mitchell, who a lot of people may know from his time on TNA and Impact, literally sharing what looked like yayo to the wrestlers and guests in attendance. Now, I don't know if it can necessarily be confirmed or denied that this happened, but this may have sunk NWA with their television deal. As a matter of fact, Billy Corgan said himself that him and NWA were, quote, blindsided by the agreement that CW and NXT had done. Because I guess while they were in conversations, no one told them, hey, the deal's off. They just went ahead and put it out there, hey, NXT coming to CW October 2024. Now, I understand that they were under the impression they were looking at weekly television, so they were looking at NWA Power, and they did not think that anyone would be checking out their pay-per-view stuff. But come on, man. I mean, look, this is kind of like when people go ahead for a job application and they hide everything on their social media while they're going through before they get the job.
Exactly.
You hide everything on your Facebook, you hide your Instagram, you hide your Twitter, you delete some things off Twitter if you're smart enough, and you make yourself look as crystal clean as possible so this way you get the job. And then you can go ahead and put everything else out there.
Or you better have the gift of gab.
I will not, Paris.
Or you better have you better have the gift of gab, because trust and believe, something like this, move the blind side by NXT deal. Something like this, you better put your A game and have a good representation.
Hold on, let me just zoom in here.
Yeah.
Taking the spoon literally up to his nose. Literally up to his nose. Not a good look, Mitchell.
Not. All you got, or for a representation of me, how I would have countered that would have been like, see, be honest with you, the individual that basically stuck a uncertain substance in his nose, he pretty much autistic in a way where he was just playing around with his gifts or snorting some soup.
Snorting some soup. Man, this tomato bisque gets me wired. Ooh.
You know, I'm just saying, because he's a little He's a little goofy in our team, and he was just testing the waters with the suit.
And here's the problem. I think the biggest overall problem with this is like this could have easily just been like a gaffe or a goof on the camera people. Maybe they should not have been focusing on that when they did. No, this was actually a spot confirmed by Billy Corgan, okayed by the head of NWA to show on the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Now I can understand if this was like ECW, because there was no way ECW was going to go like necessarily mainstream with all the blood and guts and everything. But outside of something like this, there's nothing about NWA that says, hey, we're too risque for television.
And you do something like this, and then somebody that's a representative have to clean this up. To be honest with you, like the best thing, I was like, the best part of him just want to wake up having soup in your nose because he's a little special.
Thank you, Paris. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, you're right. It's like
that's.
I don't want to say this was like a bonehead decision, but this did nobody any favors.
Exactly.
There was nothing to gain from doing something like this except shock value.
Right. And
really, if you're going to go ahead onto a network that at one point was going to have a Powerpuff Girls live action series,
which I was super.
Is this the image that you want to go up there with? This is not the thing for that kind of network. I don't think this is the thing for most kinds of networks.
Exactly. But don't bring up the Powerpuffs again, please. Do not bring up. I wanted to see that, so
it's okay. It got canceled.
No, I wanted to see that. I wish you didn't get canceled.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I wish you didn't. I wish you didn't. But for you to have the camera guy focus on this, who was the production assistant? Who was the producer? Who was the person that allowed this to occur?
I do not know.
Because it was like,
I mean, aside from Billy Corgan, I don't know who else really okayed this. But I mean, if Billy says so, then I mean, I don't know what else you need to do.
It's like if he said this was okay, then guess what? CW has the right to cancel you, or not even say that they was getting another network.
And let's face it, with the kind of career that James Mitchell has had, I don't see him saying, "Oh no, I can't do this."
Right.
It'd be different if it was like a certain kind of superstar, like maybe like someone like Titus, who has a well enough, made image for being on like, Fox News broadcasts and everything like that. He has at least made an image for himself outside of NWA that regardless of whether or not you thought he should have had the title, he still brought the title up. He still brought NWA to some sort of audience by doing that. So he doesn't have like much to worry about as far as an image is concerned. He has himself situated. Mitchell, on the other hand, he's like one of those old dudes that's like, screw it. I'm going to die soon, probably from heart palpitations. Let's just go balls to the wall. It's like Sandman, but if like Sandman never got sober. And I'm sure Sandman gets sober every so often.
It's like, why? And then you can't even get mad with him because you got to get mad with the cameraman. And so somebody higher up had to say it was okay. So it was you, Billy, and this is what happened. And I would have had a good deal,
And it's unfortunate. It really is. Because as of right now, with the moves that everybody else is making in wrestling, we already talked about WWE. We talked about AEW in the past, possibly going to more pay-per-views, maybe switching around some of their shows to like other streaming networks. Other streaming networks starting to get into the sports game. Like I just saw a commercial for Netflix Sports. Like, I don't know what the hell they're going to show on there, but I mean, it's Netflix, so someone will watch it. This is the one thing that NWA really should not have done, because now when you have a large landscape of other wrestling promotions vying for television time, you will be the ones left in the dirt because you're too risky. And mind you, we're talking about a company that, mind you, Billy Corgan hasn't had the history that Vince McMahon has. And as far as being scandalous, the most you can say is that some of his Smashing Pumpkins albums didn't sell well.
Right.
So you easily could have had like a clean slate to go ahead and do something good, but now that's a shame.
It's a shame.
But any final thoughts for you on this?
I ain't got nothing to say. It was just a stupid decision to basically put some like this out there.
Like, it just was.
Like, because if like this is the PR's worst nightmare. Like, how you expect me to clean this up? Like, he was special and he just liked to snort soup. Like, that's the only thing I could come up with. Like, he got a little dingling white little noodle hanging around, like boogers and noodles mixed together. Yeah.
Oh, he's like partial Satanist.
Like I could, but dude, not for that network. No.
No, not for network television.
Exactly, no.
Maybe some cable network, but even then, it's probably gonna be like an offshoot.
Yeah, like it, like probably like maybe a cable network that's like it handles risque stuff, but not CW. CW is a whole different brand and not good. Not good. You're digging yourself a 6 feet hole and you're still digging, and this is not good. You're even digged it when your NWA champion left and went to Raw. I mean, went to SmackDown, became the general manager.
Yeah, no, I mean, Nick Aldis going over, I think, was pretty much a large linchpin in the history of NWA. Now, mind you, NWA still has some great talent. They got EC3 as their champion, which
was a smart move. That was
I mean, that's fine. I some people still complain that Titus probably should have held on to it because of his social status as far as being in the media. Because again, it brings eyes to it. Now no one's talking about like anything as far as NWA is concerned except for this. Whereas I wonder if Titus was still the champion, does he have enough clout to at least get like the Fox people on his side and be like, hey, you know what? We can smooth this over.
Yeah, like this.
Especially as their champion, you are essentially the mouthpiece. Yeah. And as of right now, no one's talking about the championship.
We're talking about this.
Yeah, exactly.
All up in his nose.
Which I dare say, outside of being the manager for Abyss, this might be the most coverage Mitchell has ever had on his career. So at least, good for you, Mr. Mitchell. Congratulations.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
It's like, I don't want to be mean, but I mean, he set himself up for this.
Like, there's no way around it because of the fact that you did that. And Billy, you okayed it. So it's like, as a PR person, I would have to figure out some goofy, weird Al Yankovic, pull it out a hat so the production company or whatever networks that looks at that, like, that doesn't look like what we think it is. And then I'll be like, oh no, that's sugar. Or would have been like, oh yeah, he was just snorting some soup, chicken soup for the
like, at least color it.
Yes.
Turn it green or red if it make it scary looking.
Oh,
but the pure white stuff, come on, Jesus. I
would have been like, that's chicken soup.
All right. Enough of that. Let's go to a brand that's got different issues rather than this. And it is after 10 o'clock, which means we do go over to AEW Dynamite to go ahead and recap tonight's episode, talk on some of the good bits, some of the bad bits, probably more so of the bad bits, because Dynamite has not been good lately. And that's a little concerning going into Full Gear later on this month. But from what I can see, it seemed like a decent night tonight. I don't know if you followed any of it, but there was a nice little match going on between Samoa Joe and Keith Lee for the Ring of Honor TV title.
Yeah.
And I am all for that. Like, I don't want to say necessarily, beefy men slapping beef, but I mean, that's really what it was.
Let's give out the shout outs. Keith Lee, happy birthday.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Keith Lee. There was a time when you may not have been alive for us. So thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for putting on a great show.
And also, what's the manager for the Alex or Black team? He's not Alex.
Oh, Julia Hart.
Julia Hart, happy birthday.
And happy marriage.
Was she married now?
She got married like a week or two ago.
Oh. To who? One of the wrestlers? From which wrestler?
Who was it that she married? I know I saw something earlier. Lee. I think Lee Moriarty. She married.
Okay.
Which good for her.
Congratulations. Happy birthday, Julia Hart. Happy birthday, Keith Lee.
Meaty men slapping me. Thank you for that, Kyle.
And we have match Akira Tony Storm versus the women's champion.
Yeah, that's going to be set up for Full Gear. So it's going to be Tony Storm versus Hikaru Shida, which I know they've wrestled before, and I know this whole back and thing with the title, it's been done. But considering the new persona that Tony Storm has put out for herself, this, Sunset Boulevard-esque bombshell starlet, I'm digging it.
I am.
So if this means she is going to go ahead and approach the match from a completely different perspective or persona, by all means, go ahead and do that.
Yeah. And then we got Sting versus Darby Allin. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Outrunners. So we already know who's going
to win. Yeah, could not care less.
We already know who's going to win.
This has been the problem with like AEW as of late. They have gotten to a point where they are doing essentially what WWE was doing years ago, and that's relying on older talent to keep their main show going, when they should be using younger talent, fresher talent, to actually go ahead, get their licks in, and make stars of them. And I think that was emphasized more so tonight simply by the match between Daniel Garcia and MJF. Because I think that was a great match. And the way look, regardless of whether you think the whole MJF being nice shtick is, a gimmick, I do like that we're still playing this story with Daniel Garcia as to whether or not he is really a wrestler or a sports entertainer. Because that's pretty much been like his go-to thing ever since he joined up with Jericho Appreciation Society. Is he somebody that really works for the craft, or is he just like Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange? And I like that even though we don't have Bryan Danielson keeping this story going, which is where it started, I like that MJF has kind of like picked up the ball and is carrying along with it. Because I really want to see Daniel Garcia become somebody and not just like another cog in the machine.
Right. And so we also got Mark Briscoe versus Jay White.
Ooh, that must have been brutal.
Then we got Swerve Strickland versus Pentagon L0.
Penta has been on a nice little roll. Lord knows he won his Dia de los Muertos match the other week. And yeah, Swerve, I I saw some of the clips of Swerve's match. He was grabbing Penta by the tongue. The tongue. Not the arm, not the leg, not even the ear, trying to take off the mask.
You know how painful that feels? Somebody pulling you by the tongue?
That's not fun.
It's not. Ladies and gentlemen,
Look, dude, over the weekend, I pretty much ate a whole pineapple by myself. And just having like a quarter of that thing hurts my mouth. My tongue was done because of the acidity. I can only imagine how that must feel as like, it must be equivalent of like someone trying to like, well, it hurts. See, I can't even talk like that, man. I'm gonna be bad later on tonight. I know that much.
we got Samoa Joe versus.
Oh, of course you may chime in. Always, Jeff. Yes, Jeff, let us know. Has it gotten better from a watcher's point of view? Because obviously we have certain um I don't necessarily want to say we're like any kind of expert or anything, but obviously because of the show, we have a certain perspective on the show and like what works and what doesn't. But yeah, from a regular fan going person, definitely tell us.
Wow.
Don't hate on Tony.
Tony is she is our, oh God, I can't even say.
Tony is bomb. All right,
So
dude.
we got Samoa Joe versus Keith Lee. Red Velvet versus Julia Hart.
Yes, AEW is hurting badly, and again, kind of like what I was saying, they're focusing so much on like what they can do with the older folks, whether it be Ric Flair or Adam Copeland or Sting or Jericho. Look, personally, Jericho really does need to take time off and go tour with Fozzy. All right, there is nothing going on with Jericho right
Except
now, especially with the society being broken up.
like,
Jericho needs to go take a break.
They got the Golden Jets.
I don't care what they call themselves.
Him and Kenny Omega are the Golden Jets. They got something going on. They're the Golden Jets.
I don't care if it's Kenny and Spenny. All right, no, they need to take a break.
The Golden Jets.
There is nothing about Jericho that is golden or jet-like.
I kind of like it. The Golden Jets. Like, the Philly show is the second.
I don't care if it's Benny and the Jets.
Audience, how do you feel about the new?
Yeah, no, attendance is going down, obviously.
Yeah,
and I think it's because there's really not much that's going on for like Dynamite or even Rampage that really signifies, hey, this is stuff that you need to come and attend and see live.
Except for the title matches like Samoa Joe and Keith Lee versus the King on Ring of Honor title, and see if there's any upsets. I have no idea.
Right, but as far as like actual go-to people, like right now in AEW, who would you say is somebody that you have to see live in person in that ring?
For me, I like Keith Lee. About darn time they put him in front of the camera.
But that's just recent and very sparingly.
And
they don't have Keith Lee as a star. They have him as an attraction and somebody that can be a contender. But is he getting on the mic? Is he really going ahead and showcasing anything monumental aside from his agility? No, they're not giving him the spotlight.
And that's the problem.
Hell, they're not even giving Samoa Joe the spotlight, and he's one of the champions.
Which is like, what's going on? Tony, I'm going to say, dear Tony, just put me on the main screen at this moment. No. I'm going to do it. Dear Tony.
Yeah, and that's true too. Now,
he avoided me.
No, Kyle's right. Right now, AEW probably has the most competition that it's ever had to deal with. And mind you, this is a company that started before the pandemic and was able to ride out things during that time. But now, with Vince literally out of creative, Triple H taking over the reins, they've been doing a lot of great work. Raw is probably increasing in numbers. And like we were talking about before, because you had the main star rosters coming over to NXT, that has inflated NXT's numbers. And even though there's nothing on Wednesday nights in direct competition, you've still got 2 shows on Monday and Tuesday that are doing relatively well. And then you have Wednesday, and it's like comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
And while some of the matches tonight were good, again, I don't know if there was anything tonight that was really like, oh my God, guys, you should have turned in and watched. You missed it. I don't see anything like that happening tonight. And mind you, they have one of their like big 4 pay-per-views coming up in a couple of weeks.
You know, yep. But the issue is Tony has been doing.
Yeah, and look, I don't know who's necessarily in charge of creative outside of Tony. I get that Tony is a super fan. I get that he had a love and admiration for wrestling, which is what made him come into AEW long before they got CM Punk.
But Ryan, I'm going to say this. Tony cannot utilize these wrestlers like he's have a whole collection at his house, like a bunch of wrestlers in his like containers, and just start randomly selecting, especially like, oh, I'm gonna basically have him face him, and then we're gonna basically have a match, and da. You can't do that. You gotta develop a story, you gotta develop conflict of interest, and also you gotta make other people relevant. You can't just use these as figures.
Not to mention, you can't use the same figures over and over and over while you still got a whole toy box full of figures that you haven't touched in weeks. I mean, just the idea that we saw Julia Hart versus Red Velvet. Where the hell has Red Velvet been all this time? Like, good for her for being back, but Jesus Christ. And now that they had their match, is she going to be around more? Because there was a time when Red Velvet was on every single week, and she was a nice mid-card talent to go up against people, and she had a lot of charisma. But then her disappearing act kind of like floundered everything. Yeah. So I'm hoping that she can get back on. Yeah. Look, we've seen people. Look, Jeff, as far as I'm concerned with injured lists, an injured list is pretty much just saying that you can't perform in the ring. These people are still going around and going on tour and being taken here and there and everywhere, whether they're sitting and catering or not. So if you have them, at least put them on camera. At least let them talk. At least let them say something.
Like, if they have the ability to talk and they actually had the ability to be in catering, like Ryan said, do something to make them relevant. Make them have a conflict, but they can't do nothing at the moment. Play with the story of them being injured and then make a comeback and go after the individual.
You have all these talents that are just going to what? They're going to pop in, go for the title, lose, and then they're going to disappear again?
Well,
like, even before Red Velvet came back, we got Abaddon. Dude, I love me some Abaddon.
They ain't know what happened to Abaddon.
Dude, she creepy as all hell, but I like it.
Well, I'm not going to explore her identity.
Dude, Abaddon is look, Abaddon to me is like Asuka on one really bad day. It's like, you know how they say like everyone could have just one bad day and they become the Joker? That's like Asuka having her one bad day and she becomes Abaddon.
Facts. But can it be the fact that some of these wrestlers are tired of the toxicity at AEW and jumping ship and going over to WWE?
Well, I think now they're seeing that there is another possibility, whereas before, when Vince was having his stranglehold over the WWE, there really weren't many options. Right. There was AEW, and then there was maybe New Japan or Impact. And even then, all 3 of those organizations had like a working relationship, thus the opening the forbidden door stuff like they used to see. Whereas WWE was kind of like an island unto himself, ruled by a tyrant. But now that's no more.
I am Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And if you can't hold the brass ring, then guess what? Why should I hire you?
Brian, no. Come on. No. And Eddie Kingston made the best point about all this. Now, he was saying he didn't want Punk when he showed up and anything like that, but he did make the point in saying in interviews, back when you had Punk, you still had eyes on things. You still had something going. You still had a game plan, even if it was just for Collision where he was doing his thing. If you're going to take Punk out for whatever reason, just cause or not, you need to push the nuclear button and actually get something done in his stead. You need to fill the void, and that is not something they have done ever since Punk has been taken away.
Right. Because you know Punk was a revenue. Now it's a possibility Punk may be at WWE.
Agreed, Kyle.
Oscar is perfection. I'm Vince McMahon. God damn it.
And now you've worked it up to the point where a lot of people are seeing, oh, well, Punk's going to show up at Survivor Series because it's in Chicago. And you actually had CM Punk chance last Monday on Raw. That has not happened for the longest time. It has been quiet, but boy,
if
they're working up to it, I don't know.
I think,
and we all know Jeff's animosity towards CM Punk. I get it. However, I am still a fan. With his little star shorts.
I'm still a fan too. I love CM Punk. Met him in person. Is he a jerk in person? Yes, but guess what? He's a rich jerk. He knows.
Look, if TK is doing that, it's one of the stupidest decisions he could have made. Because after having to go out onto television, open up a show like Dynamite, their flagship show, and do the little speech that he did in regards to why CM Punk wasn't there in Chicago that night, to do that, garner the respect or animosity he may have gotten from that particular speech, and then just be like, oh yeah, no, we've had CM Punk in our pocket the whole time. You lose any validity that you have speaking on the mic. You pretty much damn yourself to being seen as like the boy who cried wolf. I don't think Tony Khan is that dumb. He may not do necessarily things the right way as far as like certain belts are concerned or the women's are concerned, but even I think he knows better than to be a bullshitter. And yes, TK may be a fan of that sort of stuff, but you know what? It's also one of those things where he's a businessman. All right, he had a football team long before he had a wrestling company. And he should know there are just some things you do not do for the sake of business. Jeff, don't even start with this. No. I ain't scared.
Oh, right? Jeff.
We'll have we'll have Davion do his Medea voice again. Just to sing out.
I'm just gonna let y'all know that this is not right.
Oh, he's pulling out the ruckus.
Look here. Let me tell you something. These wrestlers have to basically humble themselves like humble pie. And then we gotta basically make sure that the right corporation, the right business is making money. So don't put me on blast. I'm just a messenger. I'm Uncle Ruckus, no relations.
Mind you, this man has met Uncle Ruckus, and I am jealous.
Why are you jealous? My pure brother, blooded white brother. Why are you?
Yeah, all in all, I would say it was like a standard Dynamite tonight. Nothing necessarily groundbreaking, especially in regards to what's going to come for Full Gear. They have a couple more weeks left. They can definitely do something to hit up the card for things better. But, you know, they really need to do something fast before the end of the year. I don't know what it's going to be, but they need to do something.
Yeah, but they got...
Brian, I think more people would be angry than shocked.
What? If CM Punk make an appearance,
if the whole CM Punk thing was a work. Okay, before Day gets down to the water there. Yeah,
that match
exactly.
did make
It's like
sense. Yeah,
they're making matches for the sake of having matches, and that's probably been the biggest issue with AEW. Whereas, WWE has been a little bit more spot on with their storytelling, as sad as it is to say. But okay, so I do have one little surprise.
Wait.
For Davion today, I wanted to do something a little bit lighthearted for me coming back after the last couple of weeks, and I think I found it. Now, obviously, Davion and myself, we know the issues with AI coming into the fold nowadays. Obviously, the strike for SAG-AFTRA has been all about AI.
Correct.
And there have been some good things about AI too. Some creativity has come out of it. I will say, if you go on like certain sites where you can go ahead and get like art done and everything, some of it's very beautiful. But then there are some people that go ahead and make some art that boggles my mind. And I found this on Instagram. Well, technically on Reddit, but I did follow up to their Instagram to see what they have. There's a guy by the name of James Vanderbeek. Spells James differently with like an I. And he has done some creative photoshopping and interesting things going on with AI. And there's a whole set of things that he just did that, well, you got to see to believe. Hold on to your hats, Day.
I'm scared.
You should be.
Oh my God. No. Danny DeVito as a wrestler. No.
He has a 4-piece series of Jersey's own Danny DeVito done up as different pro wrestlers through the magic of AI. And I saw this, and considering we are Jersey folk here, like, I had to go ahead and like showcase this because look, some of this is actually pretty damn good. And again, I do want to give credits to the guy. So if I can zoom in here, without trying to look too much at the Ultimate Warrior face there, you can see his name, James Vanderbeek. So go ahead, or your Uncle Beak. Go ahead, follow him on Instagram. He does a lot of nice work. I do have to say that. But yeah, he has a 4-part series. This is part 1 here, where obviously you have Danny DeVito as Rey Mysterio, The Undertaker,
the
Ultimate Warrior, and CM Punk.
No, he scarred me for the rest of my life. CM Punk, no. But it still look good though.
It does. I have to say, I am very surprised by how much. I mean, obviously the body's not him, except for maybe the Rey Mysterio one. That feels like that really would be his body after seeing episodes of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Like the eyes on the Ultimate Warrior, the bug out look. Oh my God. It's like, hold on. I just have to like zoom in specifically on some of these and get like a little bit more. Look at that.
The smile kills it.
Undertaker with a mustache alone is just funny.
Rest in peace.
And the funny thing is the amount of detail too. If you look at Undertaker's eyes, there's just like that little hint of purple, like he used to have back in like before he became like
in the 90s.
The Gothic, yeah, the old school Taker, not the Gothic Taker.
Yeah, not the one in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and then look at CM Punk.
I'm a professor.
Tell me when I'm telling lies. That looks great. I don't even care if that's a real belt or not. the funniest thing is like the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
I can't tell if though it's supposed to be glasses or a mask or face paint.
Face paint. I think they face paint with glasses.
You think so? Because it's hard for me to tell.
Me too. He's like, oh, I got a herniated disc. But
Jeffrey, I can understand that, but it would need a little bit more like shades of green.
yeah.
It's all black, so it had to be Taker.
Can I offer you an urn?
Can I help you with that? Oh, that's a Sunny reference.
Wait. I can do the voice. Undertaker.
Yes. Now wait. There is more.
God rest his soul. Oh no.
Let's just zoom in here.
Hi everybody. You can't see me. But can you? I'm 5'4". No, 4'5".
Does he not look like John Cena's dad? I swear. He could be his father.
You can't see me. I'm 4'5".
And I'm guessing
Brian Pillman.
Okay, this one was a little hard for me to figure out. I'm guessing it's supposed to be Hangman Adam Page.
No, that's Brian Pillman.
You think is that Pillman?
Yes.
Because all it is like curly hair and a black vest. So that could be like a few people.
No, Brian Pillman. That's Brian Pillman, bro.
That's Pillman? All right.
Yeah.
It's still a good looking Pillman, but again, it's one of those looks that's just so generic. It's hard to really define someone like that.
Yeah. Reason why, because I could tell by the tattoos.
Yeah. Now here, on the other hand, that is definitely a nature boy over on the right.
Ladies and gentlemen, put down in the comments, I want your best woo.
That's got to be nature boy. That's got to be nature.
Woo!
Right?
It's the nature boy.
Now, as for the one on the left,
that is Dusty Rhodes.
Is that Dusty?
Yes, it is.
I never remember Dusty having like that much hair.
Yep.
Or at least if he had that much hair, it wasn't as poofy.
Ryan, you should know this stuff. You should pick up on certain wrestlers and their details, man.
I remember Dusty having like hair, but it was like all like wet and curly. It looked like a jelly, like a perm or something. It wasn't that bouffant.
But remember, this is AI, my brother. That's Dusty.
That's true. Yes, with AI, you have to take like a little bit of a grain of salt.
Exactly, brother.
Oh, I suppose the one up top could have been DDP. Yeah.
No, that's not DDP. That's Dusty.
No. The one in the black here.
Oh. Nah,
that could be DDP.
I say Brian Pillman.
If I seen a diamond somewhere here, then I would be like, okay, that's DDP.
That's Brian Pillman, not DDP. That's Brian Pillman.
And then for the one down here, he's saying Nature Boy Buddy Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. Again, like you said, with it being AI, it's like you have to take things with a grain of salt. But again, James Van Der Beek or Beek, whatever you want to call yourself, you are doing great work here. And there's still two more.
It is?
Oh, yes. For number 3, we get another Cena.
That one, I have no idea who that is.
Like, the goggles make me want to think Adam Bomb, but that can't be right.
Or
who wears goggles?
Crush?
No, I would think he would have like a little bit like more padding on him if it was like, you know, a demolition sort of thing, or face paint. Really, if it was like that. If anybody can
figure
yes, that does fit nicely, Jeff. Dude, just give him like a red outfit, and it's like that damn hedgehog,
Dr. Robotnik.
Oh man!
and go
I
back
mean,
down.
Jim Carrey did say he's done like making movies, so if we do get a Sonic 3,
It's gonna focus slowly on Shadow.
still, if you need a Robotnik, there's your Robotnik. I
All
mean,
right,
that does work. I hate to say it.
now we're gonna scroll down, 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 down.
This,
Yeah,
I mean, I see what he was doing with the Heartbreak Kid thing. It's more of like '90s Heartbreak Kid, like back
yeah,
when he was like with the Rockers.
yeah. He had more hair.
Yeah, but like that kind of like outfit and like the headband, that's definitely like early Sean.
And the other one, it's like you have to add more to the Triple H than to the Triple H.
Well, yeah, because like, what else are you gonna do? I mean, you could have had him like spitting out water, and it would have
Oh,
gotten it.
hey, oh, we gotta change that because now I got the message. I got the message.
What?
Look at Triple H.
Okay.
Another note, let's go back to another topic so we can change and basically
No,
I can
hold on. What am I missing here?
all right, let's just change.
No. What am I mean? I get that the head is kind of like superimposed, so it's like there's no neck or anything. But
Ryan, can we switch to something else?
what am I missing though? What? Tell me.
I can't mention it because we're on the little me with the big me.
What? The little Triple H on top of the big Triple H?
Yes.
What about it?
What does that reference about little me?
I don't know what you're referencing.
Oh God.
If anyone can understand what Day is saying, please in the comments let me know.
He's in
Because I
my
am lost.
he is in my pocket. In other news, yeah, so this is Tales from the Film Set. Ryan moved the thing up. Yeah, it's shaped like something.
Let me see.
Oh God.
I'm, I'm really not saying. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in more. Hold on.
Ryan, please stop. Ryan, please stop. Muscle on top of
Uh,
muscle. My muscle in my pocket. Ryan, quit.
I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it.
Okay, so and that, ladies and gentlemen, this is
No. We still have one more frame.
okay. 8.
Jeff is just loving this.
See, Jeff picked it up. You went like
Popping out of his. Oh. Oh, this is like the dewdrop thing all over again. Look, I'm sorry that I'm such an innocent soul that I don't see that and have the mind that you do, Davion. All right? I'm sorry.
it was just
I'm
grasping.
sorry that I'm just such a gentle being
Ryan,
that
if
I look at that and I just see Triple H somehow configured onto his body with Danny DeVito's head. That's all I'm seeing. But you deviant.
how am I deviant? I'm the one trying to. Good night, everyone. Yes, yes, wow. Yes.
No. Let's get back to like this one last panel here because now, okay, another Ultimate Warrior one. I kind of like this one a little bit better than the first one.
Right.
The hair and the makeup and everything. This feels more Ultimate Warrior, but who is that supposed to be on the right with the horns? Because I know that's not like an El Generico thing.
No, El Toro, I guess.
What, like El Torito?
Yes.
Like they had with
Mm-hmm.
the Matadors and everything?
Yeah.
No. It can't
That's the
be.
only one I can think of with the horns. El Torito.
Yeah, that one's tricking me a bit. Again, if anybody else can figure it out, let us know in the comments. As for down here,
I think that's what's his name? Oh God, his face is in in my head, but not his name. The one that was with CM Punk, and then they no longer friends.
oh, boom, boom, yeah. Oh, what's his face? I'm gonna see it in the comments, and I'm gonna be like,
I forgot his name, but that's his image. But I know that's Jim Cornette on the right, on my right. No, on my left. On my left is,
yeah, with that flamboyant of a jacket, it's definitely Cornette. Although, again, I don't remember Cornette having that much hair.
but remember, it's AI.
I know it's a '90s Cornette, but
Mm-hmm.
I was almost thinking maybe it might have been like Buddy Love,
No.
but
Oh,
his
yeah.
face isn't pink enough.
It could be Buddy Love, but I'm feeling Jim Cornette vibes.
Really, that hair is so. Oh, that hair is so good. It could be Vicky Guerrero, but excuse me.
That's almost funny as though.
Oh my god, yeah. No, that's. But Danny DeVito could be a wrestling manager. He looks it.
Yeah, he got the form.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a deep cut here.
Mm.
Looked like a promoter from Jersey. His name was Doc Diamond.
Doc Diamond. Okay.
All right. As
Jersey.
Jersey people, we should know that, but again, it's probably an independent thing. So, God help us for knowing anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, that the one on the left that could easily been like Kenny Omega or something,
No, that's
or
not. No, I can't.
Hangman. Oh, AEW. It's just the AEW thing is
I'm
like
trying
what's
to
throwing
think of
me.
the guy's name that hung out with CM Punk and they no longer friends and he got a huge lawsuit.
Hold on.
Uh,
I'm gonna look it up, and I'm sure someone's gonna have it in the chat for me. And if I pull it up late, I apologize. But CM Punk, former friend. Oh, there it is. No, what's his name? What's his name? Cold Cabana.
exactly. Colt Cabana. Someone said Luke Harper. Nah, Colt Cabana.
No, Gallows.
Luke Gallows.
No, that's definitely not Gallows.
No, Colt
He
Cabana.
has too much hair to be Gallows.
Yeah, Colt Cabana. That's the one I can think of because he does the gesture.
Yeah, he's very happy-go-lucky.
Oh, are you serious?
Again with the balloons thing. I don't know how you do it. Stop it. But yeah, those are really some great AI imagery, and I'm so glad I stumbled upon them. Again, folks, if you want to check out more of this kind of work, don't go to the Instagram for this artist. Again, his name is right up here, James Vanderbeek, or Your Uncle Beak. That's Beek. Definitely go ahead, check him out, see what he's done, and show some support some for a fellow wrestling fan. You know, God bless him for. I don't want to say doing God's work because I don't know if God has anything to do with this, but
Ladies and gentlemen, God bless America.
Close enough. I don't know how you keep doing that, but it is driving me insane.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we got Ryan and you got Major Day. I don't miss. And we are
Pussy.
Jabronis United. And thank you for watching. Subscribe,
Uh,
like, share.
hold
And
on, hold on. First of all, you didn't say anything to the fans here. Thank you for everyone that chimed in. Thank you to Jeffrey. Thank you for Tyler. Thank you for Brian, uh, Kyle, JT, all of you wonderful people. Paris, thank you for popping up. Definitely come back again. If you liked watching the show and you want to be a part of it, definitely go ahead. Subscribe to the YouTube or Twitch or wherever you go ahead and find us, even on Facebook at Streampunk. And you can go ahead and watch us every Wednesday night when we do have a show available. But yes, for as far as a day is concerned, we are Jabronis United. Stay humble. So you didn't say the stay humble part. No, you're worried about like the confetti and everything. This ain't Thanksgiving.